Before you sign that lease, before you hand over your life savings for the so-called dream home, ask yourself, is this building even safe? Families around the world discover too late that their homes are hiding cracks, leaks, shortcuts, and death traps. From Lagos to London, from Turkey to Dhaka, we've seen towers crumble, schools collapse, and families buried, all because the right questions weren't asked. Today, I'm giving you 7 powerful safety questions that could save your money, your peace of mind, and maybe even your life. Stay with me until question 7, the one developers pray you never ask. And along the way, I'll ask you tough questions too. Comment below as we go, because together, we're building a community that refuses to be fooled. In Nigeria alone, over 60 building collapses were reported in the last decade. In Turkey, entire apartment blocks disintegrated when earthquakes struck. In Bangladesh, over 1,100 people were crushed in the Rana Plaza disaster. The heartbreaking truth: most of these tragedies gave warnings. Cracks in walls, illegal extensions, expired safety certificates. All visible if someone had asked the right questions. So why don't people ask? Fear of losing the deal, blind trust in developers, or simply not knowing what to ask. But not anymore. After this video, you'll know the 7 questions that cut through the lies. And if a landlord can't answer them, walk away. No apartment, no mortgage, no dream home is worth your life. A building without inspection is not just a risk. It's a gamble with your life. Think about it. You would never board an airplane if no engineer had checked it in years. You'd never trust a surgeon who hadn't been certified to operate. Yet, every single day, millions of people step into buildings, homes, schools, offices, with no idea when they were last inspected. In Lagos, 2022, a 21-story tower came crashing down. It wasn't an earthquake. It wasn't a storm. It was negligence. Investigators later revealed the shocking truth: no valid inspection had been done. Families moved in, trusting the glossy brochures, the polished showrooms, the promises of safety. But brochures don't hold up concrete. Marketing doesn't support steel beams. Trust cannot hold up a crumbling roof. And Lagos is not alone. Around the world, tragedies echo the same refrain: ignored inspections, outdated certificates, warnings swept under the carpet. Each time, the result is the same: rubble, dust, and lives shattered forever. So here's what you must ask, and never be afraid to demand answers. When was this building last inspected? Who carried out the inspection? Were they independent, or paid by the very developer who built it? Is there an official, up-to-date certificate? Not from 10 years ago. Not even from 5. Safety certificates expire. A decade-old paper is as worthless as no paper at all. Because inspections are not a box to tick. They are the heartbeat of safety. Every unchecked pipe, every ignored crack, every outdated electrical system is a ticking time bomb waiting for the right moment to go off. Now stop for a moment. Look around you, your ceiling, your walls, your floor. Do you know when your building was last inspected? Do you know if those papers even exist? Or are you living on blind faith? Faith is good for hope, but faith cannot hold back collapsing concrete. So here's the truth you must carry with you: a safe building is a checked building. If the inspection papers don't exist, if the answers aren't clear, then the danger is very real, even if you can't see it yet. Insist on proof. Demand transparency, because safety is not a privilege. It is your right. Behind the walls, there's either safety or sabotage. The danger is invisible. It hides in the bones of the building, the concrete, the steel, the very skeleton that holds everything together. To the eye, everything looks fine: painted walls, shiny tiles, polished finishes. But behind that shine, the truth may be rotting. Imagine this: concrete so cheap it crumbles in your hand. Steel so thin it bends like plastic. These aren't accidents. These are choices. Choices by developers who cut corners, swap quality for profit, and gamble with lives. They save money. You pay the price. So here's what you must ask, and ask it with no apology: what materials were used? Were they tested in a certified lab? Who supplied them? And can you trust that supplier? Because history is full of warnings. In Nigeria, investigators uncovered coastal projects built with sand mixed with salt water. Salt water, a decision that guaranteed corrosion from the inside out, eating away at steel like acid, until the collapse became inevitable. In Turkey, after devastating earthquakes, the truth came out: low-grade concrete had been poured by the ton, foundations built like sandcastles. And the cost? Thousands of lives lost in minutes, crushed not just by falling walls, but by greed, shortcuts, and silence. Here's the truth: tiles can sparkle, paint can shine, the brochure can promise luxury living, but if the skeleton is weak, the building will betray you. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day, when you least expect it. Think about it: have you ever tapped on a wall and felt it hollow? Did you wonder what's really inside? A strong building should feel solid, unshakable, permanent. If it doesn't, maybe it's not. Because safety isn't about what you see. It's about what you don't see. And if you don't ask the hard questions, no one will answer them for you. This is one of the most dangerous tricks in construction, and the deadliest lie sold to innocent families. A building designed for 2 floors suddenly has 3. A small shop quietly turned into a warehouse, storing tons of goods it was never meant to hold. A roof extension slapped on without permission, without calculations, without safety checks. Every extra kilogram of weight sits on foundations never built to carry it. Imagine stacking bricks on a table made of glass. Sooner or later, it shatters. Buildings are no different. So here's what you must ask. Right finger, has this building been modified? Right finger, were those changes approved by the city, backed by engineering reports? Right finger, or were they built in silence, hidden behind new paint and promises? History gives us brutal answers. In Dhaka, Bangladesh, the Rana Plaza disaster shocked the world. Investigators found that extra floors had been illegally added just days before it collapsed. Thousands of workers were trapped. Over 1,100 lives were crushed under concrete and steel. Families left with nothing but grief, all because greed weighed more than human life. And it's not just Bangladesh. Around the world, buildings collapse under the invisible burden of illegal extensions, unapproved floors, hidden basements, makeshift storerooms. Each one is a silent killer, waiting for its moment to fail. Think about it. Would you live in a house where an extra floor was added without proof it could hold? Would you send your children to a school where the roof extension was thrown up overnight, without inspection, without approval? Because here's the truth. A building is a promise. A promise that the walls around you will stand, that the roof above you will not fall. The moment someone adds to that structure without safety, the promise is broken. Right finger, so never be afraid to ask, was this building modified? Because if the answer is yes, and there is no paper trail, no approval, no inspection, then you are standing inside a trap, not a home. Type extended if you've ever seen a house suddenly grow an extra floor. Water is the silent assassin. It doesn't come with noise or warning. It creeps in quietly, seeps into cracks, spreads through walls, and hides where no one looks. But make no mistake, water destroys from the inside out. It corrodes steel until beams snap like twigs. It rots foundations until floors buckle beneath your feet. It weakens concrete until walls that look solid crumble with a touch. That tiny ceiling stain you ignored last week. That damp patch behind your wardrobe. They are not cosmetic flaws. They are the whispers of collapse. So here's what you must ask. Are there leaks? Is there mold creeping across walls or ceilings? How old are the pipes feeding this building, and when were they last replaced? Because behind every collapse, water often played its part. In Mumbai, a building collapsed after years of ignored leaks. Tenants thought it was just damp walls, harmless discoloration. In reality, the steel skeleton inside the walls was rusting to dust. By the time the cracks showed outside, it was too late. Families paid the ultimate price for neglect. And this is not just Mumbai. Around the world, the story repeats itself. Leaks dismissed, stains painted over, mold ignored. Landlords and developers call it minor maintenance, but minor problems become major tragedies. Think about it. Have you ever rented a place with mold on the walls or stains on the ceiling? Did the landlord brush it off as just cosmetic? That excuse has killed, because water damage is never just surface deep. It is a red flag screaming to be heard. And if you do not listen, the silent assassin will finish its work, quietly, patiently, and then, suddenly, violently. So remember this, cracks may warn you. Rust may show you, but water hides until the moment of collapse. If you see the signs, do not stay silent. Demand answers. Demand repairs, because silence, in the face of water damage, is fatal. A safe building is maintained. An unsafe building is ignored. Think about it, no building collapses overnight. It whispers first, small cracks that widen when neglected, elevators that fail when left unserviced, pipes that burst because repairs were skipped for years. Maintenance is not decoration, it is survival. So here's what you must ask. What's the maintenance history of this building? How often are inspections carried out? And when tenants report problems, who actually responds? Because without answers, you are stepping into a trap disguised as a home. We've seen what happens when maintenance is ignored. In London, Grenfell Tower turned into a towering inferno. Families trusted their homes, but cheap cladding and ignored warnings meant a small kitchen fire spread like gasoline. 72 lives lost, because maintenance was treated like an expense, not a duty. In Lagos, tenants begged their landlord to fix cracks that grew wider by the week. Their voices were dismissed. Weeks later, the entire block collapsed into rubble. Mothers, fathers, children, buried under concrete that could have been saved with simple repairs. And it doesn't stop there. Around the world, the pattern repeats itself. Buildings die the same way people do, not suddenly, but from years of neglect. A missing repair here, a delayed inspection there, until one day, the structure has nothing left to give. Let me ask you, would you buy a second-hand car with no service record? No oil changes, no brake checks, no history at all? Of course not. You'd never gamble your life like that. So, why would you live in a building with no maintenance history? Because a building without records is a building without accountability. And a building without accountability is a ticking time bomb. The truth is simple: if no one is maintaining it, no one is protecting you. Asterisk. A building is only as safe as the ground it stands on. But what if the ground itself is the danger? Think of Turkey, 2023. Entire neighborhoods turned to dust in seconds. Why? Not just the quake, but buildings standing in a high-risk zone, made weaker by cheap concrete. Thousands of lives lost, not just to nature, but to neglect of location and preparation. Or Houston, Texas. Families thought they were safe, until the floods came again and again. Streets became rivers, homes drowned, entire communities uprooted. And still, new houses were built in the same flood-prone zones. Profit over safety. The truth is this: climate zones matter. Earthquake belts, floodplains, hurricane corridors, they're not just lines on a map. They are warnings carved by nature itself. Ignore them, and no wall, no roof, no foundation will protect you. So here's what you must ask before stepping into any home, any apartment, any tower. Right finger: is this area prone to disasters? Right finger: has the building been designed for earthquakes, floods, storms? Right finger: are the risks mapped, or are they hidden beneath the sales pitch? Because a dream home built in the wrong place is not a home. It's a trap waiting for the next disaster. Remember this: nature doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about brochures or promises. If the land is unsafe, the building is unsafe. And if you don't ask the hard questions, you may find out too late. When you move into a building, you're not just trusting the walls around you, you're trusting the people behind them. And that can be the most dangerous gamble of all. Because reputation is safety, and history always leaves clues. In Nigeria, investigators have exposed developers who are repeat offenders, names that come up again and again after collapses. They cut corners once, twice, 10 times, and somehow, they're still allowed to build. Families keep paying with their lives while these developers keep cashing checks. In the UK, the story takes a different shape. Landlords painting over cracks, covering up damp with a fresh coat of paint, ignoring tenants' cries for help, until the damage grows beyond repair. The surface may look new, but behind it, the danger is still there, hidden, silenced, waiting. And then there's corruption. Inspectors bribed to look the other way. Certificates forged. Reports lost. In too many countries, safety is sold to the highest bidder. And when money buys silence, it's the residents who pay the ultimate price. So here's the truth: the name behind the building matters as much as the building itself. Before you buy, before you rent, ask the hard questions. Who is the developer? What's their track record? Have they faced lawsuits, safety violations, or government bans? Do they respond when tenants raise alarms, or do they disappear behind glossy ads and legal paperwork? Because buildings don't collapse by themselves. They collapse because someone made choices. Someone cut corners. Someone ignored warnings. And if the people behind your building have a history of neglect, that history will repeat itself. Let me ask you, would you trust a doctor struck off for malpractice? Would you trust a pilot who crashed planes repeatedly? Then why would you trust your life, your family's life, to a developer or landlord with a trail of disasters behind them? Reputation isn't just business. In construction, reputation is life and death. The wrong name on a certificate could be the reason a roof caves in over your head. Let's recap. The 7 safety questions you must ask are: 1. Has it been inspected? 2. What materials were used? 3. Was it modified? 4. Any water damage? 5. Maintenance history? 6. Disaster risks? 7. Who's behind it? Even one bad answer should set off alarm bells. Ask the questions. Demand the answers. Because buildings can be replaced, lives cannot. If this opened your eyes, share it. Because someone you know might be about to sign a lease without asking a single question. And if you're still watching, thank you. You're part of a movement building safer cities, one viewer at a time. Right finger: watch my full video on the hidden red flags behind deadly building collapses, and how to spot them. Link right here. And subscribe, because next I'm exposing the tricks developers use to cover up unsafe buildings. You do not want to miss it. Please, subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Every click helps our channel to grow and pushes this message further than developers want it to go.